Hi friends, welcome back. I'm going to work on Alpha 7 Media this week because guess what, my friends? I'm in YouTube jail on Dia Dash. I've never been put in YouTube jail before over a link. Have you guys ever had that happen to you? On my Dia Dash channel, I'll put the video below so you guys know that channel on Alpha 7 in case you never heard of that one. um, I was trying to put the link of the article I was reading from, and immediately, I mean within minutes, I got struck. So I also have a Dia Dash 2.0 because I'm on my last strike, but I'm going to tread really carefully on Dia Dash. That's why sometimes I go into lighter topics and I have these other forums to give me just a little bit more freedom. So we're going to delve in, my friends. I hope you're having a great day. In southern Massachusetts, it's a bit humid. It looked like overcast all day, and we're waiting for it to rain. But I hope you're staying cool, and we're going to delve back in. If you didn't know, I've been going into this book, Doublespeak, of course, because they're using a lot of that. It's so bad that, you have to go to old dictionaries and older source books to even get the whole truth. Because in the newer revisions, even people who do the law stuff, right, guys? We're told that the older versions, like Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, is more on the complete side as far as the definitions. With the revised versions, they leave a lot of stuff out. So just be careful with that. So we're going to go into this book. Of course, somebody's trying to call me. I can't do anything without being interrupted. I will check that message in a moment. So Doublespeak, from revenue enhancement to terminal living, how government, business, advertisers, and others use language to deceive you. So we're going to kick back up. We left off on page 74, right, guys? So we're going to hit 75. And on 75, it starts off with the cost of television ads. Of all the media used by advertisers, television remains the most important, the most dominant, the most influential, and the most expensive. To reach the millions of people who watch television, advertisers are willing to pay big money. The numbers are pretty impressive, according to Advertising Age. The cost of running a 30-second ad on each of the prime time television programs for the 1987 to 1988 season averaged $121,860, up from the previous year's $118,119 for the three networks combined for the month of October 1987. October usually sets the rates for the rest of the television season. CBS was in last place among the three networks, with an average of $103,130 per 30-second ad. ABC was second with an average of $111,800, while NBC continued in first place with an average of $150,625. The three networks made approximately $418 million from prime-time ads during October 1987, with total income from advertising during daytime programs coming to $946 million. These figures do not include income from the World Series. Thus, the three networks made $5 billion for the 1987 1988 broadcast year, just from prime-time advertising. With daytime revenues added in, the three networks made over $10 billion from advertising. During the 1987 to 1988 television season, it cost $369,500 for just one 30-second segment in which to run your ad on The Cosby Show, and you had to provide the ad. The cost of a 30-second ad on Cheers was $307,000, while a similar ad on Magnum PI was $140,790. Meanwhile, prices for such ads on Dallas and Dynasty were $139,470 and $113,540, while Monday Night Football charged $150,000. In case you're wondering, it cost $249,190 for a 30-second spot on Moonlighting, while an ad on Miami Vice went for $171,500. That's crazy, guys. Just really think about that. You know they have a monetary incentive with all the commercials. They're always trying to sell us something. I mean, just think about how they need to recoup on their investment. They have, all the reason to do so. So for the first half of 1988, things just got better for the networks. Despite the writers' strike, television advertising revenue increased. USA Today reported that for the first half of 1988, network television, that's page 75, advertising totaled $4.7 billion, an increase of over 9% from the same period in 1987. Procter & Gamble was the leading television advertiser during this period, spending some $173 million, while General Motors was a close second with $171 million. They were followed by Philip Morris with $155 million, Kellogg with $140 million, and Chrysler rounding out the top with $110 million. There are two sure things about television advertising. It keeps getting more expensive each year, and the television networks make lots of money from all those advertisements. Why are corporations willing to pay such high prices to run their ads on television? It's really quite simple. That's where the people are. An ad on television reaches a lot of people because a lot of people watch television. They watch a lot of television. I know, guys. See? They need us to feed their crap. Advertisers were willing to pay $600,000 to run their 30-second ad during the 1987 Super Bowl because if you believe A.C. Nelson and the networks, and advertisers seem to. 122.6 million people watched the game. That's crazy, guys. Let me just fix my little clip. So we have kids and television, I can imagine. In 1988, the Center for Science in the Public Interest reported on a study it had conducted which revealed that children ages 8 through 12 could identify more brands of beer than they could presidents of the United States. How sad. One girl could name 14 brands of beer, but only 4 presidents. Imagine. The results of this study shouldn't be at all that surprising. The A.C. Nelson Company claims that the television set is tuned on an average of 7 hours and 38 minutes a day in American households. The Gallup poll claims about the same. A study conducted by the American Academy of Pediatrics in 1987 claims that children between the ages of 2 and 12 spend an average of 25 hours per week watching television. Guys, this is really, really critical because this is how our children are being groomed right from under your nose. You could be the type of parent that's very involved, and I'm guilty of that because I was young, I was overworked, I was a single mom. And so you get the children their little devices and their movies and stuff, and you know what, they are being groomed to think in a way that's opposite to your family values, and it doesn't take much. And look how much they're ingesting, so we really need to be careful. Okay, if I could do things over, they'd be the children would not have a TV of their own. When they were younger, I believe they did, but that was a huge mistake. Huge mistake to have a TV in the room. Okay. An A.C. Nielsen study in 1986 claimed that children between the ages of 2 and 5, look at that, 2 and 5, spent 28 hours a week watching television. It's not conducive to their brain. I know people now are getting movies like, The Baby Genius and all this nonsense. Some of those movies, guys, they really should have warnings for epilepsy attacks. A lot of the times the frames move much too fast for the developing brain. Just think, before the advent of television, children were allowed to watch things real time, and a lot of things happen slower in real time than they do on television. So the brain can't even keep up with all the subliminals. So, really be careful. This is like a Trojan horse right in your house. Okay. By the time 6-year-olds enter first grade, they will have seen over, wow, guys, 100,000 ads on television. By the time they graduate from high school, they will have spent 11,000 hours in classrooms and 15,000 hours watching television, during which time they will have seen as many as 350,000 advertisements on television. Nor does all this television watching and commercial viewing end when we become adults. According to author and television critic Dr. Gene Kilborn, by the time we die, we will have spent 1.5 years, oh my, of our lives watching just television commercials. Guys, we could have learned a whole different language or anything, right? Oh my. That's shameful. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Remember, they used to provide cable boxes or crap like that back in the day, so you could have basic cable at home. Like the government used to always push like weird stuff like that. Like they want you to be connected at all times. Just be careful. It's when they're giving you something for free, right? So children eat, drink, and breathe television. I know they don't even know what real reality is anymore. And then adults too, it's getting crazy. Which in many homes is on the moment the newborn baby arrives from the hospital. Much of what children know about the world comes from television. I call television the new religion, says George Gerbner, Dean of the Annenberg School of Communications at the University of Pennsylvania. It's used more religiously than any religion has ever been, he claims. I agree. By the time a child can speak, let alone read, a child will have absorbed a great deal of information about the world. that will form a child's interest and will, in effect, represent the basic storytelling role in the child's life. It's the first time in human history that most of the stories told to most of the children are told not by the parents, not by the church, and not by the school, but by a group of distant corporations. Whoever can tell the stories has a large amount of control over future behavior. That's why I can't stand watching the news. I can't stand when people use, all the different media stories to try to make their case, because we already know it's basically all actors on there. What kind of a world do children see on television? In 1987, they saw a world in which men outnumbered women 3-1. And on cartoons, it was 8-1. White males in the prime of life comprised 45% of all prime time characters, while prime time shows averaged 6 to 8 acts of violence per hour. Children's shows average 20 to 25 acts of violence per hour. Gerbner says that it doesn't matter whether people believe what they see on television. What is important is that they absorb what they see and hear on television. Television becomes the norm against which everything else in society is measured. I've been saying this, guys. TV is the new religion. Anything people see on television, it's like they think it's gospel, and it's true. It's true. Even so-called awake people, right? So I don't want to get into too many topics, but I guess we can stop here at teenagers and television advertising, because let's see, advertising is actually quite a lengthy chapter, so it can take me a little while, and my phone only lets me record for a certain amount of time, so I don't want it to just drop while I'm reading. Okay, so we're going to do this section: teenagers and television advertising. Some people argue, however, that the influence of television advertising on children is exaggerated. They point, for example, to a 1987 study that claims teenagers are dissatisfied with the content of television commercials. In a nationwide survey of teenagers between the ages of 12 and 19, 75% responded that television ads do not give them the information they want about a product. 65% said television commercials talk down to them. 66% said they changed channels to avoid commercials, while 89% said they skipped commercials on a videotaped program. All of this sounds good until we discover that the study also reveals that 64% of the teenagers said they get information about new products after seeing the commercials for them. Both advertisers and those who write the ads would find these figures very comforting and very reassuring, because, as the study also points out, teenagers are a significant force in the market. They spend, look at that, guys, 34.4 billion of their own money and 43.6 billion of their parents' money, buying crap. That's why I tell people, don't give your teenagers cash like that. Purchasing various products during the year. And 36% of that market comes to over $28 billion a year. Yeah, like I was telling people, it's good to give teenagers maybe gift cards to stores that, have actual goods, and not, questionable stores. Sometimes they get the craziest ideas from the commercial. That's the thing. You can been raised with morals and values. You could have raised your children like I'm old school, trying to teach them biblical values and all that. That's all great and all, But when you're being bombarded with all these different messages, it gets really hard for them to keep their loyalty strong to you. So that's why I really implore parents now to really be careful what you let your children ingest. I'm seeing children much too young. I know children barely 10 years old with an Apple phone, a phone that is way more. I got a Bobo Android phone to get what I need done. And you got parents out there buying $1,000 phones for literal 10-year-olds who you know they're gonna break it every 5 minutes just to do God knows what. So they have the world at their fingertips. So they have the world of propaganda at their fingertips. And the children are, their brains are being rewired every day. So I'm hoping going over this book helped you guys. We're going to pick up back on page 78. We left off 78, my friends. You like the zebra? How it matches the zebra? It's like perfect, right? I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to start some dinner soon. I'm going to see who is trying to call me. I appreciate you guys, and I will be uploading this week on Alpha 7 Media, and we'll really get into this book, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the world of Doublespeak. So have a great day, guys. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.